Show. We've got a very, very special guest for you. We have Sancho here. We have had
what's up, Las Vegas?
We've had such a great response in the last couple of weeks from the interviews that we've done. So thank you very much for all the people that have watched. Last week, this was supposed to be our guest. This is Brian Pfeiffer, and I did.
He obviously disappeared.
Yeah, and I did How to Become a Billionaire from memory with George last week. Thank you, everybody who watched that. I can't believe how many people responded to that, so thank you very much. But we have a very exciting guest, and he's exciting for several reasons. One, because he's a small business owner, but also two, because he uses a lot of search engine optimization. He uses a lot of stuff, SEM, SEO, different stuff like that, in order to promote his company. This is stuff for you who is as a bootstrapper. This is stuff you need to know. Really quick, let me talk about the tip of the week. I try to give you guys one actionable tip every single week.
Cyber
yes,
dust.
Cyber dust. All right, man. Let's say you got that crazy cousin who went to jail for selling drugs or whatever, and he wants to hit you up all the time. You still love your cousin, right? But he starts asking you for crazy stuff, and you're like,
love the cousin and hate the sin.
Yeah, you still love the cousin but hate the sin. You got that crazy friend who hit you up. I'm not saying you guys are committing crimes or doing anything illegal, but you don't need people to know your business, right?
Yeah, and even from a PR standpoint, forget about the illegal stuff. But Mark Cuban, the founder of the app, he gave a great analogy about his daughter. You know, things get taken out of context all the time, and they can come back to bite you in the ass. This is the answer.
Yeah, so what Cyberdust was, what happened was Mark Cuban was an investor in a company called Mama.com. That turns out that the people who were running it were crooks. He found out they were crooks. He turned over all the evidence that he had to the Security and Exchange Commission. They went and turned around and accused him of insider trading using his own text messages and his own emails against him. So what he realized is that they took things that clearly admonished him and they took them out of context and actually put him at they tried him for insider trading. So he created an app that, you know how Snapchat will delete what you send after about 30 seconds after you watch it. This app will actually delete the message from the server. So that means there is like literally no trace of it anymore. And if you try to screenshot something on the iPhone, it'll tell you that something was screenshot. But on the Android, I believe, it'll actually won't even let you screenshot whatever it is that's on there. This is great for secure communications. A lot of you guys are like, I don't care, I don't break the law, whatever. Trust me, there will be people out there that will ask you questions, and you can take certain things out of context, or you may want to have a private conversation with somebody. This is the app for you. So check out Cyberdust. It's completely free. You also get you get daily updates from Mark Cuban, which are pretty cool. Inspirational quotes in his blog.
I think it's gaining a lot of traction here in Vegas.
Oh my God!
So what happens in Vegas? It ends up on Cyberdust, and then it goes poof, and it goes into thin air. Literally, the best way to think about it is it disappears from existence completely.
Yes. Yeah, it turns into dust, so that's the reason why it's out there. So, guys, go out and check out Cyberdust. You can download it for the Android and for the iPhone today for free. All right, guys, we have an incredible guest today. This is right here is Brian Pfeiffer. He is a legend. If you have been going out in Vegas for any period of time, you definitely know who he is. Brian, have you when are you going to start working out, buddy? When is this going to start?
A bit small.
It's wintertime. It's off season.
So how long have you tried? How long have you been a vegan? How long has that been?
Vegan.
Are you sweating there, Brian?
Carnivore.
Carnivore is the word.
Carnivore.
Yeah. Have you watched Jurassic World? The previews coming out. That's kind of your caveman. You're eating dinosaurs. For breakfast.
Do enjoy occasional steak once in a while.
So
yes.
we want to talk to you because obviously you're a very successful small business owner. Take us back to the beginning. You started in Chicago. Surreal Chicago was the brand. Tell me about the moment that you kind of discovered your niche.
Well, it was kind of funny. I really didn't plan on being into the club scene. It wasn't what my career goal was. I actually got a college degree from Northern Illinois University. I used to throw these big parties.
What was the major?
Operations management and information systems. I used to throw these huge parties though in high school. Like I was the kid that had the house that the parents would go out of town for the weekend, and I was that guy,
Yep.
I think one time we had like 7
Risky
kegs.
business kind of thing.
Yeah, there was stuff floating in the pool, that type of stuff. It was pretty cool. So I was that guy, that kid in high school that always had the ragers.
Yep.
And the cops would come.
So you were the guy they wrote the movies American Pie about.
Yeah, like Stifler. That was me.
Yeah. Perfect.
so I had it in me, it was in the blood.
Yep.
So I didn't translate that into a career until much later in life. Like when I was 28, I was, trying to make some extra money. I was doing commercial print sales at the time, I believe, and I wanted to make some extra cash, get a little bit of weekend revenue going, and I started working the door at a new nightclub. I got lucky and got the head door guy position, and I was kind of like the Friday and Saturday
Probably nothing
guy.
to do with your size. No.
That helped a little bit, no question about it. I had a good connection there too, so that was cool. Well, that worked out for a while, and then the club started getting a little bit slow, and they wanted internal people to help push it a little bit. So me and a couple of the other door guys and security guys kind of came together. It was 3 of us actually, and we did an event. We did like a Friday night party. It actually went off pretty well. I tapped into some of my college roots. Now I was in a party fraternity, go figure, in Chicago.
What year was this in Chicago?
This is probably back in like 2001, 2002, somewhere in that.
Is there lots of bottle service in Chicago at this time?
It really didn't exist. It really didn't exist at that time. It was still just like bringing bodies in through the door. That was the big deal.
Bar revenue.
Bar revenue, yeah.
And
Bottle service.
absolutely no social media until MySpace, right?
Yeah, there was none. I mean, this is how I used to do it.
Was it text messaging?
No.
Because in Australia, right from it started with text messaging.
No, we didn't have text messaging in like 03, 04 here.
Yeah, this is how I used to do it. I used to actually go on. I had my sales job during the week. I'd be in the car a lot, and I'd be sitting in traffic, Chicago traffic, and I used to sit there and just pound the phone. Like I would literally just call people on Friday afternoon and be like, "Here, this is where we're going. This is what the spot is tonight."
These are the days of the Motorola Razr and the Nokia. Nokia was still a big car.
Phone.
The flip phone. I had a flip phone.
StarTAC.
The StarTAC, yeah.
The flip phone had 999 names, and I maxed that out
And
fairly quickly.
then you got to delete. I remember that.
You had to delete one to put a new one in.
Had that green screen on it. Yeah, I remember that.
I think I got 15,400 in my iPhone right now, so that just goes to show the generational.
You got to throw your iPhone out the window first. We got to get you on Android, man. Come on.
So that's kind of how it started. But here's how it went down. It was once a month. We did a little party, and I'm like, hey, I made a little extra money here. It was pretty nice. So then I'm like, let's try doing this once a week. So it was me and the other 2 guys. It was 3 of us to start this thing, and once a week turned into twice a weekend, and then pretty soon it was 3 nights a week, and then it was 4 nights a week, and
all the same venue to start out.
No, this were over different venues.
Okay.
Like we realized we had something. We had like a little niche that nobody else could produce. We were bringing out 100, 150 people, and we were able to take a bar that wasn't Chicago bars are fairly small compared to the Vegas clubs, but we were able to take a place that wasn't really busy and make it good. So there was value in that, and
it's a great example of targeting a niche, because you could have a city with 3-4 million people like Melbourne, where I come from, but the party scene is always a small niche. And like Michael and some of the entrepreneurs that we listen to, they always say the companies for everyone are done. So you can't do something for everyone. So this is a great example of you taking that niche, owning the niche, and then being able to use that to create your business base.
Yeah, I definitely used like some of my contacts from, I went to school at Northern Illinois University, which was about, an hour from Chicago, but most of the people that went to Northern ended up in Chicago.
Right.
So, and I had my fraternity, like brothers and friends, and at that time we were all like, 27, 28, and we were all still going out. So, I had that like little niche of people, and that was kind of the draw that brought us all into that little scene. It became like an actual, like almost like a scene. The same people were going to go out every weekend, and wherever we went, depending on what venue it was, that was the scene that was going to be there.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool. We created that. As I got into the scene years down the road, those people faded out. They got married or had kids or whatever. But
moved away.
Yeah, whatever.
Became hippies.
But you always were bringing. It was like a funnel. You had to like constantly keep putting people in because people were falling out. So you had to have that like funnel system going.
That's a very interesting analogy, and I see that here every 6 months. There's you see all the new girls that come in January for the pool tryouts. And some of them are just really social, like to go out a lot, and they come into the scene, and then you see a bunch of girls who either get married, get jobs somewhere else, or leave town, and it's like it's one for one. You see some leave and some come in.
You know what happened here, which is kind of funny. I noticed a lot because I moved out here 2 years ago from Chicago, and I helped open Hakkasan, and it was funny because back when I first moved out here, I felt like the local scene was so much stronger. Well, then guess what? Hakkasan opened up, then Light opened up, then Dre's opened up, and then what happens is all these clubs, and this happened in Chicago too. These clubs suck up like the entire scene, literally suck up every hot girl, every
it's not that I don't think they suck it up, but I think it's more of a division. So when you have, let's say you have 4 clubs before you have XS, Marquee, Surrender, and so you have let's say the scene is 2,000 people strong. 50% of that goes out every night. It's split between 3 clubs. There's 200 people in
Right.
each club. Now you have Light, you have Daylight, you have Hakkasan, you
Life.
have Omnia, you have Life. I don't think it's as much of a suck up as it is, everyone's divided between those 2 clubs and different alliances, and so you're not able to get that many of your same friends together.
And clubs like Bank that are much smaller are still relevant. Clubs like One Oak are very relevant on like a Tuesday night.
Right.
Yeah, the greatest party on earth.
For us that are locals. And that's the thing, like you said, there are so many clubs here. I mean, it was not that long ago when Vanity opened up, and we were like excited about it, or when Hayes opened up and they had Tiesto. And when you look at it, it was for a while like the 2 mega clubs were Marquee and XS, and that was it. And then now it's like there are 5 mega clubs, and then there's a bunch of other ones that are still really good. But you're right, they do get split up a lot.
There's only so many people in the scene that like to go out. And what happens is now
The rest are tourists, and the scene is what makes it special.
Well, the scene is what makes it special for the locals like us. But what happened in Chicago, and the same thing happened here now recently, there became so many like clubs and bars that what happened is it sucked up like so many of the girls and the people that were going out on a regular basis, the industry people. And then now those people, they work like 4 or 5 nights a week in those venues. Guess what? On their nights off, they don't
want
like
to go out. Yeah,
The last place they want to be
they don't
is
want to go to a club. They want to stay home and hang out with their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And it's a hard balance. I mean, I still run my company in Chicago from here, and I've been doing it now for 12, 13 years. And the guy that runs it, it's a constant battle for him. We have this conversation almost daily. He's just like, man, there's hardly any hot girls that are going out on a regular basis. And it's just the way it is. So you have to go after the young. You're not really supposed to say this, but the 19, 20-year-old girls that have IDs, those are the girls that are actually going out.
In Chicago, not in Las Vegas. Definitely
I'm not saying not in Las Vegas, but I'm saying in Chicago. But
said hypothetical promoter, not us.
In reality,
nothing to do with us.
These girls got legitimate IDs. I don't ask questions. I don't care how they get them. But hey, they cannot get a job at the bars, but they're going out. So it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and BS you. Everybody knows.
It was the exact same way in Atlanta, Georgia in 2007. It was the exact same way in Dallas up until maybe 2009, where there were only 3 or 4 places to go, and everyone went to those places, and you knew everyone that was going to go out.
And it was so much fun.
And then everyone just kind of moves into the scene, and now it's just so split. Like Austin, Texas. I'm from, I lived in Austin for 9 years, and there 6th Street was just 4 or 5 blocks, and now 6th Street is like several square miles.
Right.
It's 6th Street through 4th Street through 8th Street, and like it's so crazy that you just don't. There's no scene. It's just this amalgamation of tourists and a few locals. Yeah. So okay, that's where you got started. Let me ask you something. The website specifically. When did that come into play?
Well, I originally started out with kind of just a basic site back in the early 2000s, simple enough to just put up pictures from the events. That graduated into a really high-end.
Did you do the HTML or did somebody else?
I actually had a program, but he taught me how to do all the updates and stuff. So I used to do all the updates, and then I moved into a really high-end Flash website.
I'm sure you remember that? I remember when Coca-Cola had that first Flash website. We were like, oh my God, I gotta have this.
I mean, it was so cool. When I got it, everyone's like, "Whoa, this is the coolest club website we've ever seen."
It's been such a long time since someone commented on the look of a website. I remember those days very fondly.
Now it's like I need it to show up on your phone and not lag, and the background is white.
And I want to be on it, and I want to be off it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, so the Flash website was awesome. It looked cool. Back in the day, this is really funny because things have changed so much in the last 10 years. I didn't want the traffic that came in off the internet to come to my events, because they weren't going to get in.
Oh God!
Right. Those people were not of the quality that I needed to get.
That's
into
a very
the door.
interesting point, because because the people using the internet back then were not models and 21-year-old college girls that went out all the time. I totally
so that's
understand.
exactly why we built the site. It just needed to look pretty, somewhere for people to look at their pictures. I didn't even care about SEO. I didn't know anything about SEO back then. I just wanted something to look awesome.
Well, there essentially was no SEO until Google came up with the algorithm for backlinks. But yeah, that's a really good point. When did you know that, hey, this is what I'm going to do for a living? Whatever I had planned with my my college degree. By the way, I have an information.
Your print sales.
Yeah, I have an IT degree also. But when did you know that this was going to be your one thing and you were going to put all your effort into this?
Well, it was probably about 2000, maybe 5 or 6, somewhere in that range. I started making more on the parties.
Well, let me ask you. That's when MySpace kind of kicked in. Did that have anything to do with it?
A little bit. I mean, I can remember spending hours fighting MySpace with the slowness of the server and the HTML and just wasting literally hours of life trying to like be on top of the next promoter in Chicago and have the coolest page and get the most girls on your page. There was so many different things with MySpace that I just look back, just scratch my head like, man, those were some miserable days when I sat in front of the computer for 13 hours.
I'm lucky that I never came into it until Facebook. I moved to Cayman Islands.
MySpace was the wild. Like, you don't understand. You know how you go to you go to someone's Facebook and you know where everything is. I know if I want to find their relationship status, it will be on the left side. Right. I know mutual friends will be right here in the middle, and I know the background will be white. I know this. If you go to MySpace, oh hell no, guys had like 1080. Like, remember that we had no server speed. There were no videos online. We guys were putting 1080 photographs in their freaking background, and then as soon as you'd go to their page, a song would come on. Oh, they'd have a whole freaking playlist of songs. Do you remember this?
Yes.
They put these playlist apps on there, and like it would run your processor ragged, and every time you went to their site, it would just be like, blah, 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 like some ridiculous song. They'd
turn it off.
Oh my God, it was miserable. The thing is, that's the thing. When I was listening to, I listened to Zuckerberg. I listened to 40 Zuckerberg speeches this week, and Zuckerberg says the same thing. We're just trying to connect people to people. Is like, we're not sitting there trying to advertise anything. Right. Like, initially we just wanted to connect people. MySpace was the Wild West. There were no rules, and it got ridiculous, and that's essentially what did them in.
And there was literally, like, I'm sure it was like this in every city, but there was like 3 or 4 main promoters that were all competing for the same like crowd in that city. And it was like I was trying to one up the next guy, and he was trying to one up me, and I'd find a little niche, and then he'd find a little niche, and I'd spend money to make my site look cooler. It was just crazy.
Now, how did you win? Because from what we can understand here in Vegas, there's nobody else that comes close to you as far as the independent authority on nightlife. So if you had to pick one thing that you could go back and tell another promoter who's starting in another city, or you back in time, what would be, you would say, Brian, or promoter, listen, if you just focus on this, you will win the game, and you'll be the number one
this promoter. Is a waste of time. Like, what would you go back and tell yourself?
Well, I always tried to be the guy that stayed up on the technology. That was always kind of like my little niche. I always tried to be the first to the market with, people probably in Chicago could tell you this. Like, he was always the one that had like the coolest little niche when it came to technology, or MySpace, or Facebook, or texting, or email, or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, it's still a relationship business, and the girls are gonna, and the guys that are your clients, and guys that come to your parties, and the girls that hang out with you. I mean, you gotta treat them with respect, and that's always been the way I've run my business. I treat everybody with the same kind of respect. There's nights when people get drunk and probably get out of line, and you just kind of suck it up, and you just deal with it.
Bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue. So at the end of the day, I always, there was a couple guys in Chicago that I'm not gonna name any names, but they'd get drunk and they'd kind of make fools of themselves in the venues, and they're actually supposed to be working there. I would never do that. Like, that was always a golden rule. If I started feeling a little drunk, I'd take a few drinks of water, try to dilute the feeling a little bit, and still ride out the night in a quality professional manner. And I think that was one of the main things that kept me, and has for many, many years, kept me kind of on the top of the playing field, is that I always keep it professional, no matter what.
I just did an interview with James Swanwick, who's a former ESPN host, a couple days ago, and he was asking the same question, and you brought it up the same way. It's an attitude of gratitude. People showed up to your events, and you're grateful that they showed up to your events. And I've noticed, and the reason why I bring that up is because I've come and seen you out several times, and you have a sense of gratitude that these people came, and it doesn't matter the lowest. That's the thing about Vegas. Like, we're not that. We have the. Here's a secret if you don't know. We have the best looking local crowd that there is in the entire world. There's no one even close to what we have. But we're like, anyone can get in during the week, and so we're just happy that people showed up. Doesn't matter who you are. Well, I know at our events with Sancho and I know with you, we're just happy if you came, if you took a promotion that we put out there, and that caused you,
took the
time to come down to one of our things. We're grateful that they're there. This is this is a massive difference between us and, say, the promoters in Los Angeles, where they couldn't give 2/10 of a shit that you showed up, and if you don't have cocaine, then they don't really care about you anyway. So I mean, that's a big difference, and I mean, I don't think any of them are literate enough to even to be able to understand what I just said. So it doesn't really matter to me if they get offended. But I mean, it's just a huge difference between
There's
the way
definitely
it was
more
done.
of a family atmosphere here in Las Vegas. I don't know what it's like in Chicago.
It's similar. It's even more local in Chicago
Oh,
because
yes.
there isn't a tourist crowd at all. I mean, it's only
Everybody.
local.
I've been out in Chicago on an industry night, and I remember like this very tight knit crowd,
Right.
And everyone knew everyone else, and it felt a lot
I've been
like
out of it for
Dallas.
2 years, and I can go back like tonight, and I'll know like 3/4 of the people that are out. You know,
Yeah.
it's 2 years. 2 years is still
awesome.
it's all the same people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I miss those days. There was a club in Melbourne that I went to every single Saturday night for a year when I first started going out. I was like, I think it was 24, 2 floors up. But you knew because you knew everybody.
Right.
So it was like you could either stay home or go do something with one person or go be with 150 people that you knew that
Right.
were your friends.
All right, so I have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
The transition from just getting people in the bar to bottle service happened around 2002 to 2004, different time periods in different cities. And Dallas is around 04, in Atlanta maybe 04, 05, somewhere around there when I lived there. For you in Chicago, when did you move to Vegas, by the way? When was the
I
transition?
moved in 2013, February of 2013.
Okay, so you're still in Chicago when the transition to bottle service happens.
Yeah, that was 2005, I would say.
So tell me how that affected your business. Was it a boon for you? Were you able to just
Yeah, absolutely. You know, back in those days, we used to have deals where we actually got paid like a percentage of the bar ring.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so when obviously bottle service came along, the percentages went up quite a bit. So
yeah, cost of goods
you
sold
know, and then
goes
they-
down tremendously.
And then they figured out, hey, well, we're paying these guys too much, whatever. So then
Cut
they
that back.
switch the deal to like maybe a flat rate and then a percentage of bottle service, type of deal. That's how it is kind of today. Generally, you get a percentage of the bottle service that you bring. But yeah, that was probably 05. I remember there was a club in Chicago. It was called Reserve, and that was the whole theme of the club was reserve a table. And that was like kind of the pinnacle of when bottle service started. So.
It's like leasing real estate.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
getting a table is.
I mean, hence the name Reserve.
Yeah.
You're reserving a table. It's
That's
pretty
it.
cool.
That's exactly what it is.
And I crushed it there on Wednesdays. That was like the night to go out. When it first opened, I mean, I was killing it. I was making more on Wednesdays than on a Saturday. It was
Yeah.
killing it.
Now,
It was awesome.
Now, for someone like you who parties for a living, or you could say partied for a living for the last 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
pick one or two of the best parties you've ever been to. Is it a festival? Is it those reserved Wednesdays with your friends in Chicago? When I met you, I think we were in Miami at Ultra,
Right.
in 2013, before you started working at Hakkasan in a small club after Ultra. There, what is it that makes you tick? What do you go out for?
I've always been a huge fan of the music conference in Miami. One of the reasons why I like it so much, and I've been going for like 12 years in a row. Number one, I usually do some events down there. I help promote some events. I've actually hosted some of my own events. But it's a one place where people can just go and hear really, really good music and just kind of let loose, and you don't have to really worry about anything because you're on vacation. So it's just the vibe is just, I can't even describe the vibe. It's like
Yep.
the vibe is just there. The energy's there. Every party you go to, it's like hands up. People are jamming.
Do you like EDC, Ultra better? Which one do you like the
I mean,
best?
I personally am not a huge festival fan guy. I like the festivals. Like I like to go to EDC on the Sunday when all the industry people are there.
That's my favorite.
That's the only night really I like to go. But standing in a crowd with a bunch of 18-year-olds, and it's not really my thing. If you have a table there, it's a different story. But there's been some nights in Chicago where I just the planets kind of align and everybody just seems to be out.
Everybody seems to be out. Yes.
And those nights are hard to duplicate, man. It's just the energy, the vibe. People are having fun, and it's.
Do you feel that it's the planned nights, or is it sometimes the ones that sneak up on you and you're just like, hey, a couple of buddies, we're gonna go out. And see what
Let me
happens?
ask you something, because this is what I've noticed. Isn't it when like it's supposed to be a slow night? Like my favorite night to go out the whole year is the night before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving,
Yeah, that's
when
a big
everybody
holiday.
flies into Atlanta or flies into Dallas to go see their family, and you go out there. It is so much fun that night. Everybody goes out.
Yeah, AKA Black Wednesday, they
Yeah,
call that in
Black
Chicago.
Wednesday.
I'm sure it's pretty much called the same
Yeah.
place everywhere. But that used to be a huge night in Chicago. In fact, we used to do like big theme parties around that night. I used to actually rent out like a hotel. We'd do like 2,000 people.
Yeah.
We'd make a big deal out of it. But then, I don't know, for some reason, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's still a big night. But it wasn't quite like as big as like a New Year's or a Halloween. But I used to do huge events. Like a Halloween, we used to do a 2,000 person event. I did a New Year's event where we did 5,000 people once. out in Rosemont, Illinois. So, you know, we've done some big events. You know, as far as like my favorite, it's hard to put a finger on that. I tell people like I've been on permanent spring break for like 13 years, you know. So, you know, it's pretty much spring break for me every weekend. But at the end of the day, I still put in a ton of hours with work. You know, most people don't really see what goes on behind the scenes. You know, I try to build systems that can, you know, last with or without me. Like the system I built in Chicago has been going on now for 2 years without me. So my goal is to do something like that with Vegas, and who knows, maybe Miami next. I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about your lifestyle? Because, you know, people probably think that you're, you know, maybe having sex or drinking all day long.
We were all just having sex before the show started. Thanks for getting rid of those girls, George. Thanks for doing that for us.
Well, let me put it to you like this, guys. I'm in the middle of developing a few new websites right now, and I started. Let's just go from Monday to Wednesday. That's the last.
Give me one day.
I work 17 hours Monday.
You wake up, and then what happens?
Well, my office is about.
Is there like a girl waiting for you?
No,
like a cup of tea. And
I pretty much cut out my social life aside from like when I go out with.
Because that's the price of success.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the way I look at it. If I put in the time now during the slow season, and I can get this up and running by say April, and everything kind of in I can fine tune it as we go, but everything up, at least everything in motion by April, then I can actually start really enjoying myself. I'm actually thinking about doing like a 30-day challenge in Vegas, maybe in April or May, where I go out for like 30 days in a row, but put it all on video and do some press releases.
All right, let's do it.
Are you in?
I need to go out.
I actually have a proposal for this event already written up. It's called 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. I was thinking 30, but if we got to go to 40,
we got to go to 40.
I'm
Come
in.
on, all three of us.
If that's what the Hebrews did in the desert, then we're going to do that.
At the very least. At the very least.
I did in Chicago. I actually had a promotion going on for about 3.5 years where I was 6 nights a week. So I'm no stranger to going out 6 nights a week.
Yep.
I used to have this challenge in Chicago, and I'm sure we can incorporate this into the Vegas one. Anybody that can go out all 6 nights in a row, I would literally buy him a bottle of Grey Goose on the Sunday night.
And guess what? You know, that's such a great idea.
You know
because if they've been out 6 nights, all they need is another bottle of vodka to take away all their hangover.
I've never had one person complete it.
That's amazing.
I've never had one person complete it.
It doesn't matter.
I've been out, I think 21 days is my record.
It doesn't matter if they complete it. The fact that you did that is such a great idea. I did when I moved here 63 days in a row. That's what I did.
Yep.
Yeah, I did that, and then.
But you don't really drink.
I don't drink. That's one of the ways I was able to do it.
I mean, you got to remember, most of the people that are coming to my events in Chicago are boozing it up, and they inevitably crap out after like 3 or 4 nights.
Okay, so from the promotion
we need some Ivy Rescue. That'll get them back on.
Pretty soon you're going to see Ivy Rescue in the club, like during the club, like you're going to see people at their table watching Skrillex with the needle in them. So I'm going to ask you about mentors, specifically mentors when it comes to party promotion, and then mentors when it comes to the technology side, the website side. Who are your mentors?
I mean, I as far as the party promotion goes, I didn't have a mentor. I learned that as I went. Like I said, I think it was more that I kind of just had it in my blood. Like I said, I put through parties from high school. I was in the party fraternity in college.
Your blood's probably more vodka than
I used to love going out on I'd work my ass off all weekend, and then we'd be in the office, and then on Friday night would roll around and let's do it. And then that turned into doing parties, and I think I kind of self-taught myself that. But the technology, that's a little bit different. It's really hard to stay up on it all. I'm sure you guys know. You do studying and internet marketing and stuff as well. And I feel like every day I'm watching a new webinar. I was watching one yesterday evening at the gym. I listen to webinars while I work out, and it's like you're talking to a fire hose, and it's like coming at you so fast.
Isn't it crazy?
It's like you're trying to pull it all in, but maybe a few little chunks are sticking in your mouth.
Not to get too deep, and if you don't know anything about this, then that's fine. But you know how Penguin works with Google.
Yeah.
Has the recent changes to Penguin in the last couple of years affected how you promote your website?
Yeah, absolutely. You can have nowadays 15, 16, maybe 18 quality backlinks, and you can get ranked really well. So that's one of.
Before you had to have thousands.
There was tricks to the trade. The black hat SEO from back in the day is no longer really working that well. Don't get me wrong. There's some guys that are still figuring it out.
This is exactly what I wanted to hear about. Exactly, yes.
So wait a minute, but so for a lot of people that don't understand black hat SEO and backlinks and stuff, let's make it a little bit
simpler. So what happened?
You're a business owner. You have a website. In the past,
Well, let me give a background to the people who maybe don't understand this. So what happened when Sergey Brin and Larry Page created Google? What made them different from InfoSeek and all these other
Bing
different
and Yahoo?
Yeah, well, no, there was no Bing back then. We're talking about the beginning of search. What made them different was that they were the first ones to start using backlinks in order to make websites more relevant, and that's what made Google a multi-billion-dollar company. And it worked because before you would type in rental car and you'd get a doctoral thesis on rental cars. No, you want a rental car website because nobody understood how you can make money from search. What happened from that point forward is that people started figuring out what the algorithm was, and they started making websites to automatically backlink to your website to give you more relevance. That's
called Black Hat
SEO?
SEO?
That's not Black Hat. Black Hat is only when you create links on other websites through another website, or maybe you put it in the comment section. You put links back to your website on other people's website in the hundreds of thousands. That's called Black Hat SEO. White Hat SEO is just the on-page stuff that you do, where you make sure that the keyword is in the 4 proper places in the URL, in the title page, in the body, and in the alt text, in the photographs.
Metadata.
Yeah, that's called White Hat SEO. Gray Hat SEO is somewhere in between, where it's like you actually have these websites that already have authority with Google, and then you're paying them to backlink to you. The difference with the Penguin update that happened a couple months ago is that doesn't work alone unless you include social media with it. Now what happens is Google looks and sees that if you have a website with a lot of authority, but you're not being shared on Facebook, Reddit, Dig, or Twitter, or a few other websites, then it does not accept your authority. They're using Facebook and Twitter as filters to see where they're getting, SEO guys are trying to take advantage of them. So in a case of Brian, where he's extremely active on social media, he has 2 Facebook accounts and he's Twitter. Yeah, 5 Facebook accounts.
Actually, about 15, but not all of them are me. So.
Right, but the point is,
that's kind of like a Black Hat SEO Facebook strategy.
The point is the people who are just trying to sell you penis pills and get rich quick and lose all this fat from taking this pill, but nobody's sharing that on Facebook. Their SEO is crumbling. And that's if you guys go to sourcewave.com, you can check out Alex Becker. He'll talk about this specifically with somebody like Brian, who actually uses social media in addition as a supplement to his online promotion. Do you use WordPress for your website?
Yeah. I do. My main sites are WordPress.
Yeah, for something like that, it wouldn't have bothered him at all because he uses social media for Surreal Nightlife.
So it would have been better for you.
Yeah, if anything, it's gotten a little bit. I think it's gotten a little bit easier, honestly.
Yeah.
It's less competition.
I'm not sure if you were aware of that, but that's probably why it got better. Because the nerds who were just out there, like what you had is marketable because you have pictures of attractive women on social media. That kind of sells itself, right?
Yeah, it's one thing. The way Google's trying to go in the direction that the algorithms are going is like they're trying to make it so like, it's natural. Like when people like. I want to go. I need a good VIP host in Vegas. They're going to type that. It's like they want it to be like so you're like thinking like basically along the lines of the way the people think.
Are you saying Google wants to read our minds?
That they're looking for that. That's what they'd love to do.
Google is actually right now at the forefront of artificial intelligence, and the reason why is because the search engine that Google is essentially artificial intelligence. Right. You are having a conversation.
So are we gonna? Is that a Rise of the Machines? Is that coming?
That's a couple weeks down the line, but for right now, yeah. I mean, if you
first we have mental domination, then we have girls with fake boobs and blonde hair that are robots.
Yeah, that's
destroys humanity.
Exactly the same thing as artificial intelligence, Sancho. Very, very good point. Anyway, but yeah, the artificial intelligence, this is the beginning of it. Like basically, I'm having a conversation with Google. I ask Google a question, and Google gives me a question by reading my syntax in my question and understanding what I want.
So, the biggest suggestion I could make right now for people that are, wanting to get in on this action, and one of the things out here, there's you guys should know this. There's not a lot of competition in terms of the SEO world in Vegas.
Oh my
as far as the hosting. There's a ton of hosts, but nobody really knows what the hell they're doing.
Dude, I can't believe
there's a couple of big ones, but yeah, there's not
2 or 3.
I agree with Brian because we've interviewed some people, and I'm not going to say their names, and I'm ranking on their first page with my blog. That should not be happening, but it's happening because they're not optimizing their page. Yeah.
So there's a ton of ways right now that you can really make some traction on the internet. I'm actually in the middle of a big training on video marketing.
Yes.
Video marketing is huge right now. I took a video the other night, and we were in like a little. I speak as well. I public speak, and we had an event in Chicago, and we were just making a point. So we actually made a video. We actually did it for like a long tail keyword and had it ranked #1 on Google within like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Fantastic.
That's how
awesome.
You don't even need to ping it anymore.
I got a guy you need to talk to. We'll talk off the air.
You literally do not need to ping a video anymore. You can, if you do it for like the right keywords, long tail, and you set it up properly.
And what we mean by long tail is, like we said again, going after a niche. It's not trying to get everybody, but you're trying to get a specific thing that you know people are going to be searching for.
Specifically, a keyword would be Vegas nightclubs. A long tail keyword would be what is the best Vegas nightclub. Those are those are two different searches.
And there's a ton of traffic in the long tail keyword business. So if you spend your time now, giving advice out there to everybody, understand, get to learn it, and then spend maybe an hour a day creating either a blog content, a nice video. I mean, you can make
that, and everyone can do an hour a day.
Do you use a Google Keyword Planner?
I do use Google Keyword Planners. That is an effective tool. It does spit you out, but you remember Google Keyword Planner is owned by Google.
Owned by Google, yeah.
So they're gonna skew the results on that a little bit.
Google doesn't care where you rank. Google just cares that you rank.
Right. At the end of the day, Google wants you to spend money on their AdWords. That's how they make their living. So that tool is geared toward their particular algorithm.
Not to get too technical, but SEM. Are you doing any of that? Are you paying for any ads at all?
Ad wise, right now my marketing budget is not going to kick in until March because I'm still tweaking my website. I'm adding a forum. I actually just got up today.
Will it be? Will you use Google, or are you going to use Facebook ads?
I do Facebook ads. Really, to be honest with you, I only have to spend about $5 a day on Facebook ads.
It's great.
And about $150 a month, and you get a ton of traffic.
And again, everyone is saying the same thing. The Facebook ads are definitely the best ROI right now.
Well, they were. I think right now, YouTube pay-per-click.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you see, what's that guy? Michael Chang, is that his name?
I'm
the six-pack ab guy who's just destroying it on
you can
YouTube
get clicks right now between like 3 and 10 cents a click if you know what you're doing. And if you really think about it, those are highly targeted clicks.
Yeah.
Super highly targeted. You figure out which videos that are your avatar.
We should do something in conjunction with you with all the video content that we have.
And you could literally like hone in on that avatar for 3 and 4 cents a click. Oh, this is like AdWords was back like 10 years ago. So if you guys out there are looking to get onto something, a big trend, go learn YouTube pay-per-click right now and find a product. You could even look at ClickBank. There's all kinds of different ways you can make your own product, whatever. But right now it's like the wild west, gold rush. It is.
Yeah, that's cool. I completely forgot about that. You're absolutely
Facebook
right.
is still solid. Don't get me wrong. Just to give you an example of what we did with Facebook, I was #2 on Google for I own a party bus company in Chicago as well. I was #2 on Google. Well, then they did a big update. That update they did in like May. I fell to page 2. And my traffic went like that. So what I did, I was like, I'm going to go out of business here. So we went on and Facebook. We started spending $5 a day. Kind of figured it out. Took us about a month. I bought some, training and some education, and we got it up to where I had just as much traffic on $5 a day as when I was #2 on Google.
Wow,
off $5 a day.
But you still were on to page 2 of Google.
I was still on page 2 of Google, so my organic traffic was not that good.
Matter.
No, it didn't actually matter. Here's what you got to do. Advice to everybody out there is, you can't get all your traffic from one source.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. You got to have it's like a big wheel. Okay. You start out here, with banner advertising, then you go to Facebook advertising. Maybe do some video pay-per-click. Maybe do some Google pay-per-click. Work on your SEO, and it's like a big wheel. Okay. And if one of these sources decides to crap out on you, you still got 4 other ones giving you traffic.
Exactly,
so you're not going to go out of business. That's the key.
Hear that, George?
Diversify.
Awesome. That's some great ideas there.
Yeah.
Man.
So and one of the things too with SEO, some real good advice is if you can, there's ways to go out there and buy some age domains right now. And if you can get your hands on some age domains, I have about 7 or 8 personally that I own, and create almost like a blogging network of different domains that already have authority.
And they backlink to
and
each
then
other.
backlink to each other. That's going to be huge for you.
It's called
Mark Becker talks about
it's
that,
called
right?
private blog networks.
Right.
And it's I forget what's the website. There's a website where you can bid on those. You remember which one it is?
Man, there's a couple I've seen. You could probably just Google search.
Yeah, if you guys don't understand private blog network, Crook. Look it up, but it's a way to actually get Google traffic to come to your website. That's pretty good. It's that would fit under gray hat SEO right there. Yeah.
Right.
Now we're talking all about this technical stuff. We got Google on one side. We have you out in the club physically doing good customer service to people. What percentage of your business comes from all the technical stuff that you're doing, and what percentage of the business comes from the word of mouth repeat customers that you're meeting face to face?
I probably still get more business right now from referrals than I do off the internet. Yeah,
after doing this for 13 years,
well,
that's crazy.
It's hard to say because I have so many Facebook friends. Like I have like 5 accounts, like 4 of them are maxed at 5,000 friends.
Yep.
And literally, I got like every day I have leads coming in off those. People hitting me up. I'm coming to Vegas. And then I take care of those people. They send me referrals. So it's really hard to put a number on it.
Yeah, I mean, leads are only leads once.
Right.
And then once they start hanging out with you, they're not leads anymore.
Right.
They're referrals, yeah.
Well, that's why I built Surrealnightlife.com is, my idea is, I already have an established business. I could literally not even have a website and still be fine. Like, not even have a web presence whatsoever, which a lot of hosts in Vegas do. They don't even have a website.
Yes.
I mean, they just kind of go off, their what they got, referrals and past customers and whatnot. And I could easily survive on that. But that's not what I want to do out here. That's not why I came to Vegas. I came to Vegas to become, maybe the next red carpet VIP or the Galavanters of the world. I want to build a system out here that not only do I have my clients and my customers and my referrals, but I want to have the internet side of things, bringing me traffic from Australia.
Is there an app in the works?
My site's mobile responsive. Potentially, I'll put an app together eventually once I work out all the bugs. But it's mobile responsive. You can go to surrealnightlife.com from your mobile phone. You can select any of the venues you want. You can search the date when you're coming. And I got a forum we're gonna have on there. We're gonna have hotels. We're gonna have show tickets. Basically, once I turn the traffic dogs on this thing full force, I want to monetize it in all ways possible.
This really is the cutting edge. There's so much that you can do with so much less money. Like to accomplish what he's saying right now would have cost in the millions, not even 10 years ago. To do that now, it's like you are running ad campaigns that are specifically targeted to your audience, not a local television commercial, specifically targeted to your audience.
Print ad that no one knows who's reading.
Or an AM radio spot that nobody listens to. And now they're going specifically to his target audience. He's paying per click, so you actually get precise metrics on how much you're getting, what kind of referrals and what kind of ROI you're getting. And that's the age that we're in now. How much does it cost to host a YouTube video? Nothing. How much does it cost to have profiles on Facebook? Nothing. And
time and effort.
It's just time and effort. Like right. it is sweat equity now in order to get the massive amount, and that's just leverage. That's all it is. You have massive amounts of leverage. With very little, you can create very much.
I've been actually over here. Most of the time you see me doing something over here, I've been actually getting messages from women that they'd like to see you all topless. This is what they want to see your shirts off. I'm just amazed by that. I'm like, you see me? I'm talking to women over here,
and they say that women are so good, such good listeners, and they haven't been hearing a word we've been saying.
They've been only looking at us.
They've been watching that dancing video that Michael posted.
I think that'd be really weird, and I think if I made that the thumbnail for this video, it would be like, "What in the F
not
is
going to happen today?
What happened on the show today?" That is great, man, dude. This has been a great interview because you went into both sides. Like, this is what I wanted. You talked about where you came from and that whole part of it, but also like for those like if somebody out there who owns a donut shop, the stuff you were talking about SEO is helpful for them.
Right.
Like that's definitely such a huge thing. What do you have planned in the future? You talked about some websites you have coming up.
Yeah, I actually signed a 6-figure deal just in the last few weeks here with a company called The Income Store. They have over 500 income-producing websites, and I actually teamed up with the actual owner of the company, Ken Courtwright, and we're producing a website called nightpubs.com. It's going to be like an authoritative website, global, on basically. If you've been to like Atlanta, obviously, and Dallas and some of the other cities, the nightclubs are very small niche in those markets. But guess what? There's like a huge other niche called these night pubs.
Right.
Okay? It's like sports bars that have DJs. Yes. There's no cover charge. Yes. They serve food.
Concrete Cowboy in Dallas. It's taking over to the point where people are going there more than.
Shout out, brother.
Yeah, Rico Taylor. Shout out.
So I'm building an authoritative website that actually works for those places. So people can go in and, it's a really big site. It's multi.
Is it going to be
figures.
similar to Uber, where you have a lot of the success Uber's had is because people can rate stuff?
Yeah,
so is it going to be harnessing the power of user-generated content and user-generated reviews?
User-generated reviews. There's going to be a way for eventually we're going to start sending free traffic to like all these venues, giving them either leads or people through the door, and then eventually we'll make it more like a subscription type of site. So hey, you want our traffic? Well, here you got to pay for it.
So if anyone else is trying to build another site,
you're actually going to rent out the site. That's all.
Well, there's an authoritative site and there's a money site too.
Okay.
So it's all in the works right now. You guys will just keep your eye out for nightpubs.com. You can go there and register for it right now. And
is there a podcast or a YouTube channel that you follow regularly for your SEM and your SEO stuff?
I buy a lot of education. I believe really heavily in investing in my education. I'm actually a member of a group called the High Traffic Academy Elite.
Okay.
It's like a pretty hefty monthly fee, but the knowledge that it gives you is well worth it. I mean, you can,
High Traffic Academy Elite.
Have you heard of SourceWave?
I haven't heard of SourceWave, no.
Okay, it's an SEO guy out in Dallas.
Probably similar type of guy. And I'm actually a certified partner with High Traffic Academy, so once they release it to the public, I'm going to actually be promoting it as well.
Okay.
So, if you guys are interested in that, I'll have...
Of course. Of course we are, yeah.
So I'll have that available soon. They say probably within the next couple of weeks here. But the biggest advice I can give, and I've run into this too, and I'm sure you guys have too. There's just so much information and so much like content. You're just like, you want to sit there.
Everything,
yeah, you want to sit there and just like, you want to sit there and learn everything, but like you can't. It's not possible. It's like the fire hose is hitting you in the face, and you can only suck in so much. So starting this weekend, I've kind of made it a point. I was trying to find an assistant, and I may still do that, but I am literally going to devote like at least 1 hour a day to making content. Okay, you got to make content, because if you don't have anything out there on the website or anything out there on the internet, there's nothing.
Well, we got an hour here for you. That's what we're here for.
This is great content. I'm going to probably use this in a press release or something. But at the end of the day, I should be doing videos right now on Omnia. I should be doing some stuff about bottle service at Omnia. Where do I get bottle service at Omnia? Put a video out there about it. Guess what? That thing's going to go right to the top right now. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Nobody. And guess what? Once you're at the top, it's hard to knock you off.
Yeah.
It's hard to knock you off, especially if you can go back and revisit that content and put more stuff in there. If you do a nice blog post on it, you can go back and add more stuff, re-rank it. So, there's a lot of different things you can do with content marketing, but you gotta put the content out there. That's the key, and that's the hardest thing I've been doing right now. I'm literally so like engulfed with all this new education, and I'm so like excited to learn.
I like what you said, the 1 hour, and then you could break it down and make it even more simple. One blog a day, one video a day, one article. But if you just do one, that's doable.
Right. I got this great
I do them before we came here.
I got the lighting, I got the camera, I got the microphone, and guess what? It just sits there every day. But while I'm sitting there learning all this stuff,
that's why we have George. That's why we kick our ass if we don't come in here.
And I'm like, I'm not putting out any content, so how am I going to make any money?
That's exactly why we started the show. I'm right there with you, man. Absolutely.
So it's a fire hose.
Can you give us all the different places that we can contact you? So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then wherever else, and then your website.
My Instagram is at Surreal Events. We keep that updated pretty nightly that we go out. We're putting some photos up there. Obviously, the main website is Surrealnightlife.com. I can be contacted through there. Anytime you put a submission through anything on that, it will come to me. My email address, Brian@SurrealNightlife.com. My Twitter, @SurrealVegas, is the one I use pretty much for Vegas. I have about 5 or 6 Twitter accounts. I have @BrianSurreal, which is my personal one, and then I have @SurrealChicago, which is Chicago, Surreal Miami. There's a bunch of them out there. But yeah, those are the main places.
And then on Facebook, it is Surreal Events or Surreal Nightlife?
For the Vegas one, I use Facebook.com/SurrealVegas. Okay, that's where I keep the Vegas, and then I got Surreal Productions.
That's how you know what you're doing, because you actually know all this stuff.
Yes.
And you have so many different ones. A lot of people have 2 or 3, and they're like, I'm not sure what it is. So it means you actually use it, and that's a good indication for you guys out there.
Well, as soon as we get this darn website like 100%,
websites are never finished, bro. Trust me. I feel your pain.
I feel like the Steve Jobs and the Microsofts of the world when they releasing. It's like, we're not ready, but just get it out there.
Hey, you know what? Done is better than perfect.
Yeah, exactly. We're definitely not perfect right now.
Done is better than perfect, and like Steve Jobs said, real artists ship. right? So that's a really good point.
We're actually going to go in this weekend and do the on-page SEO and get started on that on the Surreal Nightlife site because it's not 100% done yet. We're still working on some bugs. The problem is it's 4 sites in one with a feed from a venue management system. It's really complicated. It doesn't look that complicated, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So yeah, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, I'm actually going to be starting a new blog. I actually just picked out a theme yesterday. We're going to put that up probably in the next couple days here. That's going to be briansurreal.com.
Awesome.
So
very cool.
And I actually came up with a cool name for my internet marketing side of things too, but we'll leave that one under wraps.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to steal it.
I don't want anyone stealing that yet. I haven't bought it yet, but it's a cool name.
All right, so there is Sancho Van Ryan. My name is Michael Sartain. You are watching the Viva Vegas TV show with our guest Brian Pfeiffer.
Surreal.
Surreal.
Mr. Surreal.
Mr. Surreal. You're going to catch this video on his website. You will also find this archived at VivaVegas.tv and then later on probably on several other blogs that we run because we're going to do exactly what we talked about today on the show. Just get that video content out there. If you want to get your own video content out there and you don't want to spend all this time worrying about the camera and the music and everything, come talk to George Carson here at alltalkradio.net and he will handle all that for you. And we've got some really cool things coming your way here from All Talk. So if you want to join our family, then come do that. And if you want to get in contact with Sancho or I to throw events or to do any kind of on-page SEO for you or something in that area, you can contact us at VivaVegas.tv, and we will see you guys next week.